Hola mis amores, welcome back to my canal. So we're gonna get started with your soul session today, but before we get started, make sure to have your birth chart out immediately, whether it is on your phone, okay, whether it's on your phone, a sheet of paper, whatever it is, and make sure that you have your birth chart out, because we are going to continue our game in the soul sessions. Soul sessions are not the typical element reading. We're still going to have elements in here. My soul sessions, at least, they are very teachable lessons, and it's not for you to come here knowing everything. I feel like a lot of people come to readings or sessions and they have like this automatic like trying to pinpoint what they want to know and things like that. My soul sessions are teachable. There are where you gain more awareness, but you also do have to do activities. If you are someone that is not wanting to participate, you do not have to watch, you do not have to do anything. I feel sorry for you, but make sure that if you want to actually participate and be a part of something, you are actually taking the time out to do so. A lot of you guys have severe mommy wounds, and a lot of you guys look at the blood parent, but you also have to look at the generational side of it. Your father's mom, your father's mom, your father's mom's mom, grandmother. Like, you have to look deeper than just what's on the surface, and that's where a lot of you guys are stuck at. You're looking at the surface level of things. Some of you guys are adopted, so you have to look at your adoptive parents or someone who was a caregiver to you as well. You also have to look at your sisters, your cousins, looking at your aunties who probably played the role as a mother, or your sister had to be a mom to you at some point, or whatever the case may be. There's so many layers to this that I'm finding that some people don't realize. The people who raised you, or the people that you were around growing up, definitely did show you and gave you kind of the blueprint of how you interact with other people, and why it's hard for you to gain support, feel supported, have close friendships, or join communities. It is most likely there's something between those dynamics where you have basically took on things, you've kind of made your own belief systems and narratives around community and support, and you've made yourself smaller, or you made yourself become someone that overcompensates because you don't know what it's like to be yourself, and you don't know what it's like to have that space where you could just show up, even if it's very messy, or even if it's just something that other people would find kind of weird or nasty, or, you know, they're like, oh, you're so always emotional, da 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 da. Those things can be very dismissive. So what we're going to do first is play the game. So make sure you have your birth chart out right now, because what we're going to do is the signs that I choose, you basically need to watch this. If I choose your sign, or this zodiac sign is in your chart, if this zodiac sign is in your chart, you need to stay. We're going to start with the zodiac. So if I choose your sign, you can stay. Got it? Does that make sense? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually choose 2 from each. I feel like that's fair because I'm really curious to see like who knows their placements and who doesn't. And if you don't know your birth chart, I would definitely go try to look it up and go get it, because it's very important. A lot of people tend to go with their sun sign, but it's like that's not all that makes up your birth chart, you know. We're going to do water signs first. So what I'm going to do is shuffle it right here. I'm not going to look at it. We're going to see what water sign. I keep feeling this one. Scorpio. I've always find Scorpio to be the main one with mommy issues all the time. Scorpio, you are first. It's a little backwards on the camera, huh? So Scorpio, you get to stay. If you have Scorpio placements in your chart, you can stay. The next one, let's see. I feel like I get nervous. This will cost me. Cancer, you get to stay. So Scorpio and Cancer, you guys can stay for this video. If you have this in your birth chart, you can stay in this session. Okay, that's pretty gnarly. All right, Capricorn, if you have Capricorn in your chart, somewhere in your chart, okay? Not just talking about your first 3, guys. Please grow up. We're not talking about the first 3. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, your Mercury, your Mars, your Jupiter and Saturn. So yes, those are the ones I'm mainly focused on right now, but make sure that you guys are doing this. So Capricorn, you get to stay. Oh, it's such a, you know, the energy that I'm feeling for this, it's weird. It's like I don't want to pull anything. It's like I want to use both of them. I'm gonna go with that. I did say I was gonna do 2, but something, it's weird. I don't want to pull. I kind of want to do both. Like something's telling me to do all earth signs. Maybe there's a reason for it, but I'm just gonna follow what I feel. So all earth signs, so Virgo and Taurus. So if you have these in your chart, stay. You need to stay. Okay, next is for air. I'm feeling one. Air. air. I feel this one. Libra. Hey, I kind of knew Libra was going to be one of them. Libra, if you have Libra placements in your chart, you get to stay. You get to stay for the session. Last one. Gemini. Ooh, I knew Gemini was going to get it. Gemini, every Gemini that I meet, they either have toxic parenting or they're in denial that they're in a situation where their family just does not know how to. Whew. Gemini, you get to also stay. Congratulations. Is drum roll. Let's see. Which one am I feeling? Let's see. Leo. Leo. It's me, Mario. I'm a Leo if you didn't know. But yeah, that's my sun sign at least. But Leos, you get to stay. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I feel like I screwed up on one, but I'm gonna choose one. Left. Choose my left. Again, this is my left, guys, so probably your right, my left. But left. Left. Sagittarius. Hi. Dang, y'all just gonna get all up in my birth chart, huh? I know I screwed it up. I did the words too big. But yeah, Sagittarius, you get to stay. So Leo and Sagittarius, and yes, if you have that in your chart, if you have that in your birth chart, you get to stay. If you do not have this in your chart, okay, and when I say your chart, do I have to read it to you? When I say your chart, I'm talking about your rising sign. I'm talking about your sun sign. I'm talking about your moon sign. I'm talking about your Mercury. I'm talking about fuck me in the ass. I'm talking about your Mars, okay? I'm talking about your Venus, okay? I'm talking about your Saturn. So if you don't have any of those in your chart, I guess you just SOL, huh? You've never known real community because you just survived around Roman. What the fuck is wrong with my freaking mouth? It's pissing me off. Okay, I'm gonna say this again. It says, verbatim, it says, I just want to talk like I can speak. It says, you've never known real community because all you've known is surviving around women who were hurting too. I need to do some exercises with my mouth. Don't know why I can't talk. So most people that you think experience community, but they really experience is survival on top of that, which is what a lot of you guys have been experiencing. And it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to see it through and understand why this is happening and why you are subjecting yourself to the toxic things that you are doing, and or you're just isolating yourself all over. So you were raised around women, mothers, aunties, grandmas, older sisters who never felt emotionally safe with themselves. Then you likely were trained to perform and not connect with people. So for many of you guys that I was seeing, you may have grew up in a house full of women or just around women or anyone around. Again, it's not just the blood mother, but you still felt completely alone because emotional abandonment doesn't look like silence. Sometimes it looks like someone saying, don't act like that. Sometimes it looks like saying, why can't you be more like your cousin or your brother or your sister? It even can be in the silence and the passive aggressiveness, being ignored, feeling unneeded, and things like that, why they cater to other people. You can also be told, fix your face before we go in here. Stop crying before I give you something to cry about. Or, you know, they're going to talk about you anyway, da 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 da. Or you don't need friends, you got family. Family's more important. And there's something more along the lines, again, like I said, like seeing your own blood mothers or just whoever woman-wise choosing other people over you is another thing of support and community that happens a lot. Or your mother or whoever coming around only needing you because maybe you provide something that they can't provide for themselves. This could also be in the form of financial means. This could be in the form of comfort and other things like that. So you could have always been their comfort, but they never were really apparent to you as well. And it could be all of it all together, okay? I also said, and what they didn't tell you is that family can wound you just as deeply as a stranger. And that is the big thing that I'm seeing here, that some of you guys are finding out, or you're actually coming to terms with and realizing like this is why you're still hurting till this day. And it is okay to say that it hurts. Even for me, not having a connection to my mother's side anymore this year, finally, and also realizing like why I was always uncomfortable was because of these reasons. And I can honestly say authentically, like, I'm still hurt from it. I'm not going to say that it doesn't hurt me. It does hurt me, and that's okay. Like, a lot of you guys need to learn how to be okay with something that does hurt you, because you're acting like you're supposed to be fucking invincible. Are you okay in the head? Are you mentally unstable? Because who says that? Who made you feel like you need to dismiss that pain? That's weird. Or are you dismissing it? Because if you feel like you are supposed to be over it, you have a lot of shit going on, okay? You need to come back to earth and realize you're still human. These things impact you, because a lot of you guys have these bad attitudes because of that. So you're basically projecting and hurting not only yourself, but other people who could be of help to you, because the community that you had before was shitty mixed shitty. And now that you don't have it, and or you're still in it, it makes you feel like every woman or everyone out there is going to be out to get you. And that's not true. And it's not just women. Oh no, friendships, it can also just be with other people in general. It's just people in general. It doesn't always have to be like women. But for what I was seeing here was a lot of you guys feel uncomfortable. I even saw this for men. They feel uncomfortable in spaces with other people because it's like I've never had real support and community, and I've never seen a healthy version of it. So now if I'm being presented it, I'm going to reject myself automatically, because my survival instinct is kicking in. Even if it's not right, it's still kicking in, and I'm going to go with it. Instead of me stepping out my ego and actually understanding that this could expand me a little bit more, to learn that not everyone's out to get me. But that, telling you, this is a really long message. So I said, I saw that your mother may have provided for you, fed you, clothed you, but did she see you? Did she hear the words that you couldn't say? Was she able to actually sit there and listen to your perspective on things without making you feel ignored? Because most times a parent could be listening, but they're not actually seeing you. So it's kind of like some of the things that I see you guys doing. It's one thing to hear somebody, but comprehending what they're saying and comprehending their experience and where they're coming from, and actually having someone curious about your experience is another thing. I also wrote down, did they protect you from the things that they endured themselves, or did they pass it on? Some of you guys are still making excuses. I did see that, like, you're justifying them, like they tried their best, but then I'm seeing you go through life, you're kind of like that person that enables, or you make excuses for people who are treating you wrong and or treating someone very poorly, and you feel like, oh, it's just their trauma, or it's just like they always come back and say sorry, or they always come back around and change and make up for it. But that's still not okay, because that's still an inconsistent thing. You keep doing the same thing, but then you keep coming back with flowers, but you're still the same person every time. That is toxic. Let me keep going, because some of y'all... Okay. We're going to be honest here. She might have taught you how to do your edges, but not how to regulate your your nervous system. I did see that, because like I said, we're not going to exclude that some of our parents did do their best. That we're not going to exclude, because that I totally have come to realize, like, my mom did try, but then it's like she gave up along the way, and then suffered in silence, and then shrunk herself for a man and started choosing everyone else over her, and just completely changed into a really not so great person. And she started acting like my grandmother. Little does she know, because my grandmother, her mom even said it. She's like, my kids are doing the same thing that I'm doing, but differently. And none of them are listening to me because they think I'm crazy. Which, her grandmother's not crazy. She's just mentally ill. She has schizophrenia and bipolar. And it's crazy. I can say that openly, but my family, they're so it's like they're embarrassed by her condition. Like, how are you embarrassed by her condition that is a real thing that you should actually be open talking about? It's serious. But I know this is a reading, but sometimes I like to share my experiences. She might have told you to act ladylike or dress a certain way or be a certain way, but never asked you who you really were underneath it. She might have thrown you into rooms of women and called it sisterhood, but you felt like a prey the entire time. You could have been around also family members that gossiped about each other, and or the only way that you knew how to really be included in things was gossiping with women in your family. I saw that some of you guys do that, where you're always involved in people who gossip or talk about about other people, but even where these people even talk about you and your family, but you still hang around them because you don't want to be alone. So something else I saw is like you grew up in, so basically what happened to you and what's happening right now is you grew up and you learned how to be liked, but you didn't know how to be loved. You became so fluent in keeping the peace, even if it was costing your soul and taking away pieces of your spirit. You enter a lot of friendships expecting betrayal. You overgive because being needed feels safer than truly being seen. You apologize for taking up space, always saying sorry when all you're doing is just communicating and or talking about your feelings or experiences, or maybe you have something that you're really passionate about, or maybe you're thinking about something and you just really wanted to tell somebody. You were never seen in those ways. Again, mental abandonment. Some people don't know that. That's what I've been trying to tell y'all. Sometimes what you're not realizing, going through mental abandonment where no one really understands your perspectives and other things like that. Okay. What else I said? So many of you guys are keeping your guard up around other women, even when they're kind, especially when they're kind or showing you love or showing concern or curious about your experiences. You feel as though that is a threat and you feel as though they're going to throw it back in your face. I'm not saying this never happened to some of you guys, because granted, I did see where some of this did happen to you, and some of it didn't just happen from women. It even happened from your own brothers. It even happened from your own cousins. It even happened from people that are supposed to be your safe space, but instead they threw back a lot of your experiences, your wounds, and a lot of your hurt back at your face, making you feel small. They threw a lot of your experiences and even the times where you were suffering back in your face, or making you feel like you were inadequate. So yes, I understand why you would isolate yourself, but not everybody would do that. We're not telling you to rush to healing, but please make sure that you're not making the whole world your enemy. Because somewhere deep down, you were taught that kindness is also followed by control, comparison, or cruelty. So this is a mother wound. It's the wound passed down by generations of women who didn't have the resources and the support or the permission to be whole. I'm going to say it again. Yes, this is a mother wound. Not just your biological mother. It's the wound passed down by generations of women who didn't have the resources and the support or the permission to be whole. It's your grandmother who married to escape her abusive father. It's your grandmother who probably stayed in a marriage because she didn't know she could have better. It's your grandmother and or your aunties or your great aunt who also decided, became the abuser and of the person that they were with because they really couldn't heal from their abandonment wounds. Yes, there are some women who are abusers that I literally seen in my own personal sessions, and I told people, your fucking great auntie was an abuser. Like, you probably don't know that, but I'm finna tell you, as a medium, I can tell down your ancestral line, some of your people were druggies, and now this is why you have the same addictions they had, but you probably didn't know it skipped them and went to you. So yeah, so I tell y'all, getting a personal reading will tell you a lot more than what you think a video is going to tell you. But I said it's your aunt who put everyone through college but never got to chase her own dreams. It's the mother who poured herself into everybody else, sacrificed her goals, her dreams, just to be the mother to everybody that she didn't have, but ended up becoming bitter and resentful, not only towards herself but towards you. That one, I was like, ooh, that's such a big message. Okay, it's your older sister who became a parent at 12 and or 18 because no one else stepped up. No one showed her how to value herself. No one showed your older sister and or your sister at all how to put themselves first. It's your mom who never learned how to comfort herself, so she couldn't comfort you without criticizing you first. That one was pretty, like, that one's pretty spicy. I'm not gonna lie, that one was really spicy. Very spicy. So it said, it now lives in you in ways that are subtle, but they look like personality traits. So yeah, now it lives in you in ways that are so subtle they look like yeah, so now you do the same thing. So it says, like, a lot of you guys, you act like you're independent, but you're scared to ask for help. So basically what happens is a lot of you guys take on a lot of the hyper interdependence traits. I cannot talk. A lot of you guys start to lean towards a lot of the hyper independent traits because you're scared of what it's going to look like to ask for help. Also the rejection from it too, especially when you were rejected from people when you needed help. It's not always in the form of physical help. Sometimes the help that you need is an ear. I know for me, the help that I've always needed was like, yeah, physically, but it was mostly like needing an ear, needing someone to talk to, needing a hug, needing affection, needing someone that will just hold my hand in the times where I'm going through a struggle. and I'm not used to that comfort. And so I get it. Sometimes you may not know how to ask for help because you don't know your needs and wants. This is why I tell people, spending time with yourself and actually diving into stuff like this, you'll start to realize the help that you need is probably going to seem so small, but it's going to make you feel better later on. So, you act like you're so chill, but actually you shut down before people can hurt you, which I saw that. Some people try to play the cool, calm, and collected. And sometimes people say, oh, they're narcissistic. Well, sometimes these people really are just shut down people. Like, they really are like very emotionally blocked people, and they don't know how to express it. They don't know how to present themselves. They really don't know. They're afraid of the reactions and how they're going to be looked at. They're afraid of the image wise. I've seen a lot of so-called gurus and other people who are like this, who are very chill or so-called calm and collected, but seeing through them, this is why I don't go on social media. I'm like, something is not, are you okay? Like, and half the time when I meet them or talk to them, they're not okay, or they have a lot to say. But again, they're afraid of the image. It's image. It's a really big thing that I see in people. It's the image. Like, people are obsessed with how they're going to be perceived or what people are going to say. A lot of you are obsessed. You say that you're not, but clearly you are. You can't even do one thing, which is talk about yourself. You can't even talk about yourself. Why? Like, even if you are not in the best like time of your life, or maybe you don't feel good, or maybe there's a lot of things on your mind and you just want to get it out, you can barely do that. And I'm like, that's not okay. That is so suffocating. Like, does that not feel suffocating for you to just be holding like babe? But again, this is why I tell y'all to challenge yourself. But I also wrote down, a lot of you guys are loyal. You stay in friendships. A lot of you guys are loyal and you stay in friendships and romantic relationships that drain you because you confuse love with endurance. You confuse a lot of sacrificing with staying in connections and relationships that are literally draining of your energy, taking away pieces of you, losing your identity to them as well, afraid of losing them more so you're afraid of losing yourself, just being loyal to someone. For a lot of you guys, you claim that you're always low maintenance, but what just happens is when you don't know your emotional needs were probably too much for someone, and or you were or had people, or still do, who don't know how to meet you in that emotional level. So because of that, you claim to be low maintenance, or I don't ask for much, which actually is not a good thing, because it's like, oh, I don't want to be too much for someone. But how are you too much for someone? So that's something you can look over. Another thing I said, you call yourself the therapist friend, but no one asks if you're okay. You're always the one taking on everyone else's responsibilities, whether it's an emotional responsibility, mental responsibility, making choices for them, trying to push them to their best potential. Whatever the case may be, you're always the one caretaking, therapizing other people. But no one asks if you're okay, because you don't know how to prioritize yourself at all, and you want to feel needed and wanted. So you actually prioritizing yourself feels wrong, when it's actually the best thing you can do for yourself to make sure that your cup is fulleth and running over, so that it sprinkles onto everyone else. Did you understand that? I'm not about to play with you. Okay, so it runs deeper than what you think. And the longer that you keep avoiding this wound, which I see for a lot of you guys, you start to compare yourself to a lot of people. You start to get really jealous and envious of other people who can prioritize themselves. You compare, all right? You wish you could do this, you wish you could do that, or you wish you could be more outspoken, when you were probably given the ticket to be outspoken. Or even when I tell y'all to be outspoken and write in the comments, a lot of y'all can't do it. And I'd be like, okay, well, next. You feel triggered when other women you feel triggered sometimes in other people's successes, or even when you do see someone else succeeding and doing things that maybe you're like, damn, that looks amazing. Or maybe you find other people getting into friendships or communities and relationships and things like that. It does trigger you in a lot of ways. Or you see other people having friends and having fun. It does trigger you, because for many of you guys, you most likely did not have that same type of experience, but you want that experience, but it's you who have to make that decision. So a lot of you guys, you want it so bad, you often end up in like connections that are just completely out of pocket, which you got to be careful, okay? because I was seeing that a lot of you, the longer that you avoid the wound, you're going to be in codependent relationships, but call it closeness. You're going to be with trauma bonds. You're going to be obviously emotionally abandoned a lot in your connections, but because you want closeness with people, or you love this person, whether it's friend or romantic, so-called love when it's not really love, you're going to stay. But it's hurting you, and they're probably doing things that are not helpful towards that, which I saw that here. So the thing that I did see here is you'll keep thinking it's just me, I don't do well with women. I need you to really listen to that narrative one more time. It's just me, I don't do well with women. I don't do well in groups. I don't do well in da 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 da. Okay. Write that down. You don't have to write it down right now, but when you have time, write that down. I want you to really meditate on those words that you keep saying. It came from somewhere, and it came from an experience. It came from, someone could have told you that as well, indirectly. Someone could have told you all women are fake. That's another thing. I'm telling you, there's a lot of things someone could have told you directly or indirectly. Something that you probably learned. Write it down. Because what I saw was, that's kind of a lie that you were fed and taught. The truth is, you don't know what support feels like that doesn't cost you your authenticity. Okay? And what it looks like is a lot of you guys, you're in a group chat, but you feel the need to shrink your wins so no one thinks you're bragging. You're in a group chat, but then you're scared to kind of show up or talk about things in the group chat because you're afraid of being perceived or how someone's going to respond to you. So you end up backing off the group chat or saying, no, I don't want to be a part of it because you guys are going to da-da-da-da-da. All right. And this is different because some people, I understand the whole like family group chats. Like if you don't feel comfortable around your family and stuff, and they're known for gossiping and things like that, that's totally different than you being in another group chat that's full of community and people just talking to each other. But you feel like the outcast because, well, you didn't say anything. You didn't show up. You are not really expressing yourself. So how is anybody supposed to know who you are? But you're the ones shielding and isolating yourself from actually being seen. Like, does that make sense? Like some people, I saw that you get into a group chat or you have friends who are welcoming you in or whatever the case may be, but you're the one isolating and you feel like, oh, I'm just not fitting in. How? You didn't say anything. You're just here. You're just stalking the group chat. You ain't saying shit. So you meet a new friend and the bond is good. So you sabotage it, ghost them, or pick a fight. So this is another thing where some of you guys, you're in connections with people. But for some of you, the wound can also look like you pushing people away, or because someone may not need you the way that you think they need you, it kind of triggers you like being rejected. It's like one of those friends who's used to caretaking for everybody. But as soon as they don't need them, or, you know, the friends focusing on themselves or whatever, they get triggered by that. You know, they get really triggered by them doing their own thing or working on their goals or whatever the case may be. And sometimes even seeing like people around you succeed and you're still where you're at triggers you. But there's two sides to the coin there, because if you're still in, you know, doing the same addictions and same patterns, that's why you're still there. So you being mad at them is kind of just like, well, you don't want to change and grow. They want to grow. You understand? And I've been in situations like that where I want to grow. I want better for myself. And I'm not going to be scared to put myself out there and do what I want to do. And I've had ex-friends of mine who did not like that. They thought like, why would you do that? Because I fucking want to. I also said, the reason you do this is because emotional safety is foreign, because you were taught not to trust what's too good, too soft, and too easy. A lot of you guys wasn't raised around a lot of softness. A lot of you guys were raised around places where you had to protect yourself. A lot of you guys were raised where you had to be something that you really didn't want to be, or had to take on too much. So a lot of your mother wounds makes you suspicious of kindness, numb to support, and addicted to chaos. This is even internal chaos. Chaos is not always just out there. Chaos is also on the inside, creating something out of nothing, creating situations and these made up stories in your mind out of nothing. So it's what keeps you trying to earn your place in people's lives. It's what makes you afraid to shine in rooms with other people. It's what has you addicted to hyper independence, because depending on anyone feels like a weakness. It feels like they're going to take advantage of me. They're going to think all these things about me. But is that really true? Or is that something that's been made up in your mind from the pain that you've been through? And worst of all, it makes you believe that what you're experiencing is normal, but it's not normal. It's not normal to feel most alone when surrounded by people. It's not normal to constantly watch your back in rooms meant for healing. It's not normal to feel like being yourself is too much. It's not normal to be the strong one and the invisible one. It's not normal to be overcompensating just so you can get love from somebody. That is not normal. It's not normal trying to fix yourself that nobody leaves your life. That is trauma. It's also inherited, and it was also taught directly or indirectly. So no, it is not your fault. We get that, but it is your responsibility to face it so that you don't go into life harming not only your kids, but harming yourself and potential for healthy relationships that could thrive for a lifetime. Because until you do, you'll keep finding yourself in communities that look like family but feel like captivity. Until you do, you're always going to feel isolated and like the world is against you. You're never going to resonate with anybody, but what's actually happening is you don't resonate with yourself because you don't know who you are. So the wake-up call is, just because it's familiar doesn't mean it's safe. Just because they love you doesn't mean that they know how to treat you. Can we gonna say that one more time? Just because they love you does not mean they know how to treat you. Let me say that one more time. Just because they love you doesn't mean they know how to treat you. Just because you're included doesn't mean you're seen. Especially for some of you guys in your same hometowns, some of you guys around the same family members, around the same friends, in the same love relationships, and the same dynamics in your thing. So healing the mother wound does mean relearning how you need to be supported. It means also grieving the fake friendships. It also means grieving versions of you that you had to be so that you could be included. So the shallow bonds that a lot of you guys have spent years trying to be the strong one, for the woman who never asked you how you were really doing, but also vice versa for the version of you that was overcompensating because you just want to feel included so bad and you wanted love so bad, but you didn't know how to do that. Just be authentically being yourself. It means confronting how you've been abandoning yourself just to be accepted by people who only love your mask, or you just abandoning yourself completely. Because I have seen a lot of people who shapeshift all the time, who really don't know themselves. I've done reading for them, aka a lot of air placements and a lot of earth placements that I was doing readings for. And people with those placements, they were taught that. And again, it's not to shame you. It's something you were taught. You're shaming yourself. I'm not shaming you. You're doing it. You're the one sitting back like, babe, we're in a space where we can open up about this. Some of y'all have met me in person and you saw that, babe, I'm not going to shame you. I actually like that you're expressing it, but some of y'all have not met me in person, so you'll never know that side of me. But yeah, it's inherited, so it's something that you can work through. It's just talking about it probably would help you a lot, huh? But whatever. What else did I write? I said some of the things that you can ask yourself. Okay, are you guys ready? Are you guys ready for the questions? Do not write this in your fucking journal. You can't scream, I want community, I want to be understood, but you over there scared to talk about it in the comments. Be the one to start the conversation, bitch, okay? But let's see. It says, it means asking yourself this question. So, ready? I'm going to ask this question. I don't want you to sit there and think. I want you to feel. Even if that feeling is disgusting, I want you to tell me that I felt so disgusted feeling this feeling. Like, yes, tell me why you're disgusted. I know, it's probably weird, right? Like, you want to know why I'm disgusted? Yes, I want to know. Okay, so next, ready? It means asking yourself these questions. Do I feel safe to be messy around these people? Have I ever had the space to be messy and completely just experiencing all these anxieties and shit? I'm talking about all of that. Be mad, be angry, all those crazy emotions, because we have a lot of emotions, okay? Am I free to evolve where I am, or I'm only being tolerated if I stay the same? So I want you to like really dig deep. So in your family dynamics, even if where you are right now, do you feel like you're being free to evolve and grow and change? Like, are you being challenged by these people that you're around in your relationships? Like, do these relationships emotionally, mentally, spiritually really uplift you? But I also want you to look at their actions. Don't look at the words. Look at the actions of these people and how you're being treated. It's going to tell you everything you need to know. Some of you guys, you're probably going to start feeling all these emotions or crying and stuff, but I want you to be honest with yourself, because then you get to really see if this romantic relationship, friendship, or whatever is right for you. And most of you guys know the truth to that answer. Let's not forget, make sure to check yourself and take full accountability, because it's not always about what everyone else is doing. It's also about what we're doing as well, contributing to the negativity that we might be allowing. Sit on that. Or are you only being tolerated to stay the same? If the dynamics around you are making you feel the same over and over again, and you feel like there's no growth, you're probably being only tolerated, or you're being used in these dynamics. Some of y'all are being tolerated and used. So, and some of you guys don't mind it because you're like, as long as they're here in my life, baby, it's not worth it. You're wasting years and time. I'm letting you know. Because there is time limit. Some of y'all be like, I have time. Baby, you're going to say that you're going to be 72. Oh, I'm old and croaked. My life and my younger years and my youth has been wasted with these dumb Sorry. Not niggas, girls too. So if you saw a lot of my documentaries of us on the sanctuaries, I did have a lot of videos where I helped them transmute everything, and a lot of them felt loved, a lot of them felt seen, a lot of them got feedback back, a lot of them got to write down journal prompts and stuff. And when you're in a situation and energy like that, it feels empowering, which is why a lot of people didn't want to leave. A lot of them were like, can we just stay one more day? I'm like, you gotta go, sorry. But you know, being in situations and sanctuaries and places like that is very big. And some of you guys, it just sucks because I know some of you guys are still around these people, or you have to live with these people. Even some of you guys are living alone and you're carrying it. So that means you have to express it now. Not through just talking, but even feeling it now. And this year and next year is big about emotions and feeling. So some of you guys only know 3 emotions. Some of you guys don't really like feeling, which is weird because how you can't be a spiritual being if you don't feel.